Let's get right into it. Number 10. The cave that one explorer got sealed forever. Imagine being so deep in a cave that you can't move forward or backward. You're stuck upside down in complete darkness, and the space around you is barely bigger than your body. That's exactly what happened to Jon Jones in Nutty Putty Cave. This cave in Utah was a popular spot for explorers. Thousands of people had explored it safely before Jon, but one wrong turn changed everything. Jon was an experienced caver, but he made a crucial mistake. He thought he found a familiar passage called the birth canal, but it was an unmapped tunnel that got tighter and tighter. He was wedged in a space barely bigger than a dishwasher, stuck upside down, at a 70-degree angle. It's like being stuck in a chimney, but the chimney keeps getting smaller. For 28 hours, rescuers tried everything to get him out. They set up a complex pulley system. They got so close to freeing him at one point, but then their equipment failed, and Jon slipped even deeper into the crevice. The rescue team could talk to Jon the whole time. They could even touch his feet, but they couldn't get him out. After Jon passed away, they couldn't even retrieve his body because it was too dangerous, so they sealed the entire cave with concrete, turned it into a tomb. Now, Nutty Putty Cave sits there, permanently closed. A memorial plaque marks the spot. Number 9. The traveler who made airport security nightmarish. In December 2001, Richard Reed boarded a flight from Paris to Miami with explosives packed in his sneakers. During the flight, passengers noticed him trying to light his shoes on fire. The explosives were damp from sweat, and other passengers tackled him before he could succeed. This single failed attempt is why billions of people now have to take off their shoes at airport security. Before this incident, airport security was relaxed. You could bring drinks on planes, keep your shoes on, and even visit the cockpit. Now airports need specialized machines to detect explosives in shoes. These machines cost millions of dollars each, built right into your ticket price. In the 20-plus years since this incident, no one has ever successfully smuggled explosives in their shoes onto a plane. Yet the time wasted taking off and putting on shoes in security lines adds up to about 350 years of human life annually. Reed actually bought a first-class ticket to avoid suspicion, but he looked so suspicious that the airline made him go through extra screening. They found nothing wrong with his shoes because the technology to detect the explosives didn't exist yet. Reed is now serving a life sentence in a supermax prison in Colorado. Number 8. The man who broke The Price is Right. Terry Neese wasn't your average contestant. He was a weatherman and a casino surveillance expert who was really good at spotting patterns. For 4 months straight, Terry and his wife watched every single episode of The Price is Right. They wrote down every prize and every price, and they noticed something interesting. The prices barely changed. The show was using the same items over and over at the same exact prices. Then came the big day. Terry got on the show and made it all the way to the final showcase. The prizes included a karaoke machine, a pool table, and a camper. Without missing a beat, Terry bid $23,743. Drew Carey read out the actual price, $23,743. The studio went dead silent. It was the first perfect bid in the show's history. Drew Carey was so convinced something was wrong, he refused to celebrate. He just stood there, looking like someone had just told him his car got towed. The producers stopped tape and investigated for hours, but Terry hadn't cheated. He had just studied really hard. The show had gotten lazy with their prizes and prices. After this incident, The Price is Right changed everything. They started rotating prizes more frequently. They began changing prices randomly. They even started sourcing items from different vendors. Number 7. The person who broke satisfaction guaranteed. LL Bean used to have the most generous return policy in retail history. You could return anything, anytime, for any reason. Bought a backpack in 1985? You could return it in 2018. Dog ate your boots? They would take them back. Found an LL Bean jacket at a yard sale? They'd accept that too. In 2017, LL Bean noticed something strange in their returns department. One customer kept buying their stuff from thrift stores and yard sales. He'd return these ancient, beaten-up items for full-price refunds. This wasn't just a one-time thing. He made it his full-time business. Then he'd walk into their stores with garbage bags full of worn-out clothes. The company estimated he made over $50,000 doing this, and it was completely legal. Their policy stated, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, no questions asked. In 2018, LL Bean changed their legendary lifetime guarantee to a 1-year return policy. A 106-year-old promise was gone. The company had to take out full-page newspaper ads to explain why. Because of one person exploiting the system, millions of legitimate customers lost their lifetime guarantee. Number 6. The Cleveland Balloonfest disaster. A Coast Guard member searches for 2 missing fishermen in Lake Erie. He spots something bobbing in the water that could be a head, but as he gets closer, it's just another balloon among thousands covering the water's surface. On September 27, 1986, Cleveland created one of history's most bizarre disasters. United Way planned to release 1.5 million balloons into the sky. Thousands of volunteers spent months inflating balloons inside a giant net structure. The release looked spectacular for about 30 seconds. Then a storm rolled in. When those millions of balloons hit the cold air and rain, they didn't float away. They came crashing back down all over Cleveland. Drivers couldn't see through the storm of balloons. The airport shut down because pilots couldn't distinguish between balloons and birds. The Coast Guard couldn't find the 2 missing fishermen because the lake was a blanket of balloons. Both men were found dead. Their wives sued United Way. A championship horse injured itself in panic from balloons landing in its pasture. It had to be put down. The owner sued too. The balloons kept appearing for months. On beaches, in trees, in fishes' stomachs. Some even reached Canada. Because of this disaster, mass balloon releases are now banned in many places. Number 5. The urban explorer who shut down a power plant. An active nuclear power plant in Ohio became the target of urban explorer Marcus Thompson in 2019. He managed to slip through a gap in the fence that maintenance crews had left open. Instead of staying in the safe zones, Marcus started live streaming his adventure to his 200 followers. Marcus had already triggered several silent alarms. The power plant went into immediate lockdown. But Marcus's stunt exposed major security flaws in nuclear facilities across the country. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission had to completely overhaul their security protocols. Marcus ended up in federal prison. Number 4. The athlete who got a celebration banned. For over 30 years, players would dunk the football over the goalpost after touchdowns. Then came Jimmy Graham in 2013. Jimmy wasn't content with a regular dunk. He would grab the crossbar and violently shake it back and forth. The goalposts would wobble dangerously. Stadium staff would have to run out and straighten them. Games would be delayed while they made sure the posts weren't about to collapse. Things finally went too far when he bent a goalpost so badly that a game had to be stopped for 20 minutes while crews fixed it. The NFL had seen enough. In 2014, they banned dunking over the crossbar completely. 3 decades of one of football's most iconic celebrations gone because one guy had to take it too far. Number 3. The treasure hunter who got metal detecting banned. In Richland, Washington, one overeager treasure hunter managed to get metal detecting banned for everyone. This guy wasn't just doing casual sweeping looking for lost wedding rings or spare change. He was performing unauthorized archaeology. He dug massive holes everywhere, under trees, and near historical markers. Things finally went too far when he discovered what he thought was a Native American burial ground. Instead of calling actual archaeologists, he decided to dig it up himself. By the time park rangers caught him, he'd already mangled several historically significant artifacts beyond recognition. The city council's response was absolute. No more metal detecting anywhere in the city's parks. Legitimate metal detector enthusiasts who'd been responsibly hunting for years lost their hobby. Nowadays, if you want to metal detect in many of Washington state's public parks, you need more permits than a nuclear power plant. Number 2. The person whose pet got an animal banned from a country. In 1992, Hurricane Andrew destroyed a python breeding facility in Florida. Dozens of Burmese pythons escaped into the wild. The facility's owner had been keeping way more pythons than they were supposed to, and they hadn't secured their cages properly for the hurricane. Today, there are somewhere between 100,000 and 300,000 pythons slithering around the Everglades. These snakes can grow up to 20 feet long and weigh 200 pounds. They're eating everything: rabbits, raccoons, deer, and even alligators. The problem got so bad that Florida banned Burmese pythons as pets in 2021. Because one person couldn't properly secure their python collection, nobody in Florida can have one as a pet. These snakes are basically impossible to get rid of. Number 1. Lester Hayes and the Stik-Mo rule. Imagine being so good at catching footballs that they had to change the rules of the entire sport because of you. That's exactly what happened with Lester Hayes, the guy who loved Stik-Mo so much he practically bathed in it. Stik-Mo was this super sticky adhesive that players would use to get a better grip on the ball, but Hayes took it to a whole new level. This guy would slather so much Stik-Mo on himself that he looked like he'd been dipped in maple syrup. Other players started calling him the human flypaper because anything that touched him would stick. During games, the football would come out looking like it had been rolled in glue. Hayes kept a fresh jar of Stik-Mo right on the sidelines and would reapply it between plays like it was sunscreen at the beach. In 1980, he intercepted 13 passes and was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He ruined so many uniforms with Stik-Mo that the team had to give him a new jersey at halftime of every game. The NFL finally banned Stik-Mo completely in 1981. They called it the Lester-Hayes rule because everyone knew exactly who was responsible. After the ban, Hayes' interception numbers dropped from 13 in 1980 to just 4 in 1981. Turns out, catching footballs is a lot harder when you can't turn yourself into human flypaper. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.